Test, test. Test, 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 test. If you can hear me, please let me know. Hello, do you want to say hi?
Hello, 안녕하세요. 저는 우연이입니다. My name is Yonie Woo from Seoul. Really beautiful artist.
Okay, so welcome everyone. This is The Artist Journey, and we're starting a new interview today with the wonderful Woo Yani and Marcus. Hey, Marcus, say what's up.
What's up? I'm Marcus.
Okay, very cool. Actually, we're in my house right now, and it's really old school. We're organizing things right now, so hopefully it's getting good. Okay, so you guys can hear me really good. Yeah, so if you guys want, you can send messages on the Ustream channel. Ask any questions that you want to hear answered, or just message me on Facebook. Okay, so let's start. So let's start with Yanni. Actually, Yanni, you and me, we known each other for a long time. And when I came here, you already had your caricature booth and everything, fun caricature. So how did that start?
Okay, I will speak English, but my English is not really good. So please, if I not hard to speak English, and I'm gonna speak Korean, please understand. Okay, I started the caricature about around 9 years ago, and I got training at SeaWorld in San Diego, and after 2 and 3 years working experience caricature in United States and Europe, I decided to came back to Korea. After I got here, I looking for a job, but doesn't really can find as a caricature artist. So I decided to go to the master degree program, and which is I always want to be an artist. So, but somehow I have to find my job to survive, and then to support the school. So I went to Everland, which is the biggest theme park in Korea, in Korea. So went there, showed my skill, and as a caricature artist, I had a performing a little bit, and then they liked it, and then that's how I start in caricature, retail caricature in Seoul, and no, in South Korea. And after that, in Korea, it's not too many artists working as a retail caricature artist. So I have to train the people, and so I've made a lot of training book to find a good artist, and eventually now we had like 20 around 20 professional retail artists working together, and now we had a 인사동 쌈지길, and Lotte World, and Seoul Tower, and we had a 5 or 6 booths. Currently, I have a 5 and 6 caricature stand now. That's also, yeah, that's about it. And you guys can understand my English or not? I can speak Korean.
If you guys, you can message and tell her that you can understand her, or you can use Google Translate and then translate what she said, and then put it back into English, and it'll come as something else completely different. Okay, and then beside Yanni, We have Marcus. So Marcus, same question. How did you start as a caricature artist, and how did that come to this point now, at this very second?
Well, um, caricature, huh? So I think I've been seeing caricature for a long time. Going to theme parks. I live in California, and there's Paramount's Great America, and there's Six Flags and all that stuff, and there's always the caricature artist booth, and I was always really excited to just stand there and watch the artists drawing and stuff. Um, but I never thought it's what I was gonna do professionally growing up. Summer of 2010, I moved out to San Diego, and I worked as a caricature artist at the zoo. And anytime I wasn't working, I was hanging out with caricature artists out there. And there's a really small kind of group out there, and they're all so excited about caricature, and that made me even more excited. And I decided to go to the ISCA convention. ISCA stands for International Society of Caricature Artists. That was in November, every November. It's been going on for 19 years or something. And this one was in Las Vegas, and I went there, and it was my first time, and I got to meet everybody, all these great character artists from all over the world, and it was even more inspiring. And I'm just getting falling more and more in love with caricature, like every day. And actually, at that convention, I met Yonie, and this last semester, huh? Just a name drop, yeah. And this last school semester, spring semester, I decided, what am I going to do this summer? I don't really have a job, and I'm not sure I want to go and work at the zoo again. Maybe it'd be cool if I could go work in a different country. And I've heard of other character artists going and working for Yonie U's company in Seoul, Korea. And so I asked her permission, and she accepted after I showed her some of my samples. And so yeah, I was able to come out to Korea, and I also went to Japan, Osaka, Japan this summer. There's a caricature convention there. It was really exciting going there and meeting all these Japanese artists that I've been just seeing their work on Facebook and stuff, and that was really great. But now I'm back in Korea and still working hard, and going back to California in about a week and a half. I'm going to be sad leaving, but yeah, that's pretty much my story of caricature so far. I've been able to travel a lot since I started caricature. I think it's really cool.
All right. That's. I actually have a question. Actually, we kind of all talked for a while. We met before a couple of times, so we know each other's stories. But everyone else who probably listens for the first time, they don't really know. But for Marcus, I'm just kind of curious. For example, for myself, before I started caricature, I had an idea of caricature, but it was very superficial. It was like I just knew it on the surface, and I didn't really know anyone. I could recognize, for example, like Sebastian Kuger's work, but I didn't know who that guy was, but I knew what his work was. And then once I started getting into caricature with Yonie, and just started, looking on the internet for all these other guys that are doing it. Then I started thinking much more deeper about basically caricature, and how you, like, once you do caricature, you can't unsee people the same way, right? So I was wondering, like, what is your perspective of caricature before and then after, now that you're getting deeper into it?
Well,
And that's it.
that that's a good question. Well, you're right. Once you really start diving into caricature, you look at everyone differently. Walking down the street, you're not looking at people's faces and judging their insides. You're just like, oh man, that guy's facial features. I just want him to sit down and I could draw him. That'd be awesome. And I don't care if he likes it, as long as I have fun drawing it. But before, what my thoughts on caricature were, I don't really know. I mean, like I said, the only thing I knew about caricature before was just the stuff I saw in theme parks. The black and white, real quick. But to me, it was amazing. When I was a kid, I was like, this is incredible. How the heck do they do that? It looks like it's printed on the page. Like it was done. Yeah, it was just unbelievable when I was a kid. So it was cool. And then after I go to art school and I'm walking down Pier 39 in San Francisco, and I see these like old Chinese guys that are doing caricature drawings, quote unquote caricature drawings, for like $2.50, and that kind of gave me a bad perspective on caricature.
How did I give you that perspective?
Because they were crappy drawings. If you go to Times Square in New York, you're not going to get a good caricature there. They put up artwork of all the best caricature artists. They steal artwork from Seiler and Kruger and Court Jones and all these other people, and they put it as displays as their own. And then you sit down and pay $5, and they give you this quick charcoal drawing that it's a stamp. The same mouth and eyes and everything. They just try to put your hairstyle on there, and but and then I started seeing, researching online the caricature and seeing all the great things that caricature is, and then my perspective changed a lot.
Yeah, actually, that point that you made about artists stealing other people's work, I'm not sure if you saw it. It was on Facebook a while back. I forget which artist did, but they went to New York and they saw that. They saw like Kurt Jones' work and Sebastian Kruger's work, and then this guy, he like just made these copies and he posted on his stand, and then he tagged everyone that he knew. Like he tagged Kurt Jones and like everyone on Facebook, and they're like, "Hey, this is my work," and everyone's kind of disappointed. And
But you don't have to disappoint for that, because probably they are not caricature artists. They are just a pretend artist, but it's not caricature artist. If someone is a really caricature artist, they probably not gonna steal that. So even though they displayed retail caricature or party caricature, whatever it is, it's not, doesn't mean they are artist, caricature artist, and that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, I totally agree. And then, but one thing that happened was, so all these famous artists is just like, I can't believe someone stole my work. And then one other artist, Kamal, he was just like, my work's not there yet. Yeah, he's like, that's not me. Like, I have to work harder. If my work's not there, no one's taking my stuff away, then that means I have to work harder in my craft. I was like, good point, touche. So for Yonie, you of course you started yourself as a caricature artist, and you're still doing it now, but now you're also teaching classes, right? You got your own classes in Yeongdunpo, Guchong, and you have you also teach at Hongdae, right? So I'm curious for you, like how does caricature now evolved in your life? Because just from doing as an artist and then teaching it, and then like how do you see caricature differently now?
I'm my background is fine art, and so I graduate fine art school, for 4 years, and after that, and I was working as a visual artist for Lotte department store for a while, but I went to America and came back, and I don't know what to do. But I only can do just drawing, and I was just so into the caricature. I was the first member of ISCA, so you know, first Korean member of ISCA. So I kind of have a responsibility, and I really love ISCA. Really excited joined ISCA. So I wanna show my excitement, my passion to the other people. So I made a class, but I just don't know what to teach at the first time. And so we research all the artists and then study together. Kind of that's what I start by that time. But after actually my background is really helping to teach. Someone asked, because I was a teacher in the retail department store as a visual artist, and then so they asked me teach something, and then they ask me what are you doing now? So I say I'm running caricature company, and so can you teach caricature? But not too many places can learn caricature, so okay, maybe I try. I denied for I refused their request for about 3 years, and then finally I have a little brave and brave and okay, maybe I try, and courage. Yeah, thank you, Mark. 용기. Yeah, yeah, I got some 용기. So I started culture center. I started teaching caricature in culture center in 신세계 department store. After that, just for 2 years, it's boom, 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 boom. Everybody want me to teach at the culture center. So I had a 10 culture center per week, and it's made me crazy. So, so I kind of want to stop, but I couldn't because, no one, I don't know. And so I asked so many people to teach at the culture center because they ask me too much. So, but not too many people, even though my student or one of my caricature artists, and then they go there and then teach one semester and stop. I don't know why. And so I just keep going for over 4 years, and then one of the professor in my master degree program professor, and then he asked me to teach at the Hongik University MBA class as a caricature class, and in how can I say the he want me to teach at the Hongik University MBA class. So I say, what can I teach in MBA class? And he say caricature. So what, it can be possible? And then he say, yeah, it's possible. Caricature can be really good.
And that's the first class ever for caricature.
Yeah, in any school, yeah, in any university. I can say in any 4 years university, and any especially master degree program, I think that's the first class. And so actually a lot of fine art professor in Hong University, they don't like that way. So they say, why do we need caricature class in Hong University? But after one semester I teach, and then they change their perspective, and then actually I got a first, how can I say, student to
First love.
no I cannot really say, but it's like they had a grade, and then like a student can make a score to the grade to professor. every semester finish, student can have to make a grade to the professor. Evaluation. And I'm the top professor for that for last semester. So they change it perspective, and then they ask me again. So I keep doing it. So that's a fun thing, you know. Yeah, but I after before that, I have so many chance to teach caricature. Even I'm not a really great caricature artist. I don't even think that way. I'm still learning and still trying to be a artist. I really impressed to a lot of artists in ISKA, but if not too many caricature artists is working as a professional here. So if you are a caricature artist as a professional caricature artist, there's so many chances out there. You can teach at the company, big company. I've been teaching Hyundai or LG or Samsung. They love to learn caricature because they have a boring job. So right? So they need something fun, and so they ask me caricature class every time, and it's really high money, and for working with the company, and also, it's fun to teach student in MBA class because everybody is really better than me. So I'm just learn a lot, even though I'm a professor. Doesn't matter. I'm kind of like have to really humble them, humble by myself, Yeah, and actually, and also organizing caricature exhibition, international exhibition is really fun too. I really want to keep doing it, and a lot of a field is out there. You can do you can make something your own thing as a caricature artist. There's I'm so proud of myself. I can be a caricature artist. When I first start in here, no one respected a caricature artist.
That's because they didn't know, right?
Yeah, they didn't know. And then also caricature artists, they can only think of just someone who walking at the street, and of course, that's why I want to change the field in Korea, caricature field in Korea. Even though I have a retail booth, in the retail artist doesn't mean crappy artist. They can be really good artist also. So I just encourage them having improve their skill and be a good artist. I also want to be a good artist too, and so we keep trying as a retail artist, as a studio caricature artist. That's it.
Okay. So yeah, everyone understands. all 8 people. Thanks, Mom. And yeah, so that's pretty interesting because I remember I remember the Shinsegae ones, and we used to go there, and they were pretty interesting because you got a lot of older people there, and it was pretty interesting because even for myself, like I teach too, and for myself, I kind of get that same experience, for people kind of, hard to get into it, like they don't really understand, because I was thinking the same way too, and you learn so much about, caricature, or just by teaching, just by explaining what you do, and then you can, this is how I do it, but I have to put it into words and stuff, and then later on, then the what happens, I notice, is like sometimes the people who are really into it, they'll stay. Like you'll get some people, they're kind of into it, and then they'll kind of take as much as they want, and then they'll just kind of go do their own thing. So I'm just kind of curious now for what you guys think of in terms of caricature, like looking at people, right? Just even though you're not drawing people, but when you talk to people after with caricature, do you think it affects the way how you communicate to people. Or, for example, I sometimes get that feeling just because I'm drawing them. You know, you get a different feeling about a person. I'm not sure if it's empathy or what, but you can kind of get like a stronger sense of a person's personality just by looking at them. And I think I got that kind of, you know, a little bit heightened sense. I'm not sure if it's like superpower, but heightened sense because of caricature. So I'm just wondering, like, how has um, drawing people, especially live, how's that, you know, affect the way you see them differently? So I'll start with you, Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you mentioned it's important to be drawing the caricatures live, and I am actually much more experienced drawing from photos. I consider myself a studio caricature artist, and I'm much more comfortable working from photo references. And but in terms of like sensing, the person. Yeah, I guess it all depends on the photo. If the person's expressing a feeling in that photo, then I'm staring at that one emotion for 2 hours or longer maybe. And it is different in.
But what
in
about like now? Are you not doing? You're doing live now, right?
Yeah, I'm doing live now.
So like, how has that been? You know, compared to what you usually comfortable with with like studio work. How does that change your approach to drawing? Because it's much different. You know, the person is moving and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Um, yeah, live is a whole different. It's so much different than working from a photo. You gotta be quick, and that's just a lot of practice. So there's a term in caricature or maybe even like portrait drawing, but the term is called stamping. And there's a point where stamping is, well, stamping in general is usually a bad thing, but practicing, a certain type of nose or a certain type of mouth or a certain type of eyes, having a library of facial features in your mind so that when you see it, you can draw it real fast without having to really, really, really study a person's face and get it like 100% accurate. You're there, and you're there to entertain them and draw a funny cartoon for them. You're not there to draw, like a Van Gogh, or I don't know, like just some beautiful like 1 hour portrait. You can go over to the guys in the tent over there who spend an hour and like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, most of the time I'm used to drawing people smiling, so I'm used to drawing. Well, now I'm getting used to drawing the Korean smile, which the eyes are a little bit closed than most people, and sometimes they get upset and say, draw me with big eyes, but I'm just trying to draw what I'm seeing, and I get used to drawing these same features. Well, I mean, everyone's different. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
I guess it was a kind of a hard question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks. Okay. So, Yanni. So, for yourself now, I mean, what is your goal now in terms of your own personal life and your own personal journey as an artist? What do you want to achieve?
Uh, I want to be a really good caricature artist, and the caricature for me is a passion of life, and then you know and then care of people. If I don't care people, if I don't interest somebody, I don't want to draw. There's a caricature is drawing people, so I have to my heart to the somebody. So if I love to travel. All my 20, and until now I'm still traveling. So, but whenever I traveling, I I want to draw somebody. But before I learn caricature, I just draw by my by my pleasure, by for me. But after I learn caricature, you know, I draw somebody, and then people actually really like that, and then they invite me dinner. They a lot of free things. Yeah, and then it's like a so great feeling, not just economically good, it's just a really great feeling. They love my work, and I don't have a also Iska is a really good great community. uh I recently I traveled 4 months in South America, and then I don't know anybody there, and then I went to just Buenos Aires and just look at the Facebook who's caricature artist in Buenos Aires. And then I found one guy. Actually, one guy is not. Actually, I don't know where is he from. So he just speaks Spanish. So I say hola, and donde está, and just to try to speak Spanish a little bit. And then he said, I'm from Buenos Aires, and I'm a caricature artist in here. And so, I saw his studio and everything. He showed me the whole bunch of his artwork and also introduced a whole bunch of artists. And then that's why I start and then stuck in there, and then for 1.5 months, and then stay there, and hang out with the artist. So that's pretty fun. If I don't have a caricature experience, I probably don't have that experience either. So I want to travel as much as I can for my life, but now I kind of want to stop because I did too much. So my eventually, I want to draw many people, and many people, not just for the money, and I want to make a volunteer team, and we travel together, you know, and helping other people. Caricature can help people without any money. I can make them pleasure really good. If you go to Cambodia or Myanmar or other country, they don't know anything about the caricature, but I can just draw them, and then they make me happy. And then also I can make them happy. So it's like a big, really. If I draw landscape, they're not gonna be happy that way. But if I draw that person is very special connection between me and that person. And so we had a really good time just one drawing. So you can do a lot of things, drawing caricature, and a lot of valuable thing too. So I want to do like a someday, with my coworker, and then make a volunteer team, and then all traveling around us. Maybe when I become 60 or 70, before 60, maybe before 60. 60 is too young though, but yeah, I'm gonna live until 120, so it's a half of my life. Maybe I can choose to make a team and traveling together and volunteer work. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's very cool. Actually, yeah, it's one thing to take a picture of somebody, and then but when you draw anything, even if it's like a landscape, but especially when when you're drawing a person, like caricature or nude croquis or just anything, just out on the streets, you experience time much more differently. Like you're doing it much more slowly. Your sense of observation is much more different, and then you kind of feeling that space between you and that person and stuff, and then that's why I think it makes it much more special, especially like you said, like when you go to like Cambodia and they have no idea of what caricature is, and they just think of like a portrait at least, and then when you do a caricature, it's a little bit more fun, and then more exaggerated, and then just like
They just love I have attention, to their face or their, for them, they just love to get attention, also love to get a cared feeling. So, you know, I'm not just drawing their face, I'm just giving my care feeling or my interest, through the caricature. So that's why they don't know what is a portrait, what is a caricature. They don't even have their clothes, they naked and they running around. It's like really poor, but they can still really happy. You know, somebody draw me at the first time, and then you know just then they hold yeah on their chest, and then yeah the next day. It's just so funny. The next day they come and they show me, and nothing there in the arm, all their chest, and then how can I say has a yeah yeah, and so but it's still they really happy man. Yeah, it's so good feeling.
Yeah, then they would have to get it tattooed. Just like Yanni did this for me. Actually, it was kind of interesting. You said that like you wanted to do that. When you're 60 or 70 because you're gonna live to be 110. Coincidentally, I was teaching my new classes, and I had this quote here. I wanted to share with you because it's a guy from a Japanese artist, and then he said, from the age of 6, I had a mania or I had a craziness for drawing the shape of things. And then when I was 50, I had published a universe of designs. But all I have done before the age of 70 is not worth bothering with or not worth talking about. And at 75, I had learned something of the pattern of nature, of animals, of plants, trees, birds, fish, and insects. And when I am 80, you will see real progress. And at 90, I shall have cut my way deeply into the mystery of life itself. And then at 100, I shall be a marvelous artist. At 110, because everything I create, a dot, a line, will jump to life as never before. And then to all of you who are going to live as long as I do, I promise to keep my word. I am writing this in my old age. I used to call myself Hokosai, but today I sign myself the old man mad about drawing. So it's pretty interesting. Exactly, yes. So
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 60 is nothing.
yeah, so I'm just gonna practice and then make dots at 100. $1 million next, like that. So for Marcus, kind of pretty much the same question. I mean, what is now you've had some really good opportunities. Now you're working in Korea with actually a bunch of other artists too, and you also did the Japanese convention, which you did really good at. You won a couple of prizes there, and I'm kind of curious about what is your future goal or your future idea, what you want to do with your art, or how your art will affect your other bigger personal goal in life.
Well, my future goals in art, or what I want to do with my caricature art. Well, yeah, who knows if I'm going to be doing caricature art as my main, source of income until I, keel over and die. I know I'm going to love caricature, but I just recently got an email when I was in Japan. Someone wanted me to be like a lead character designer for some like startup iPhone game, and I'm going to school as an illustrator, and I'm going to be graduating this fall, and I plan to get a job as an artist. I know I'm always going to have the passion for character art, and I'm always going to be doing character art in my own time because that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half. And if I can, what I want to do is illustration, caricature illustration, get my stuff published, magazines or newspapers, or I don't know, iPad readers, whatever the heck the media is going to be. I want my art out there and as many people seeing it as possible, just because my favorite thing about art is just showing it to other people. That's what makes me happy, is showing my art to other people. and hopefully getting a response back from them. It helps. It helps. But doing illustration work, freelance work, it's pretty tough. You gotta work really hard, and then there's fine artists. Like I would call Kruger now. He's just like a fine art character artist. He doesn't even paint caricatures anymore. He just paints these big giant portraits, but before that he was doing big giant caricatures, and that stuff sells before he's even done with it, and that would be pretty darn cool. I'm a digital artist. I do my work almost completely all digital, but in school I've learned a little bit of oil and acrylic and watercolor, and I plan to practice those mediums more because it's nice working with them. Sometimes it's a little aggravating, because you can't undo a mistake or something. Some mediums are forgiving, but I think the only frustrating thing is like having to mix my own colors when I could just be picking it in an instant, with the color wheel on Photoshop. But yes, I would like to learn to paint traditionally, because having an original is worth a lot more than a digital copy. And then I'd be able to maybe get into exhibitions, get my caricatures, my artwork into exhibitions, and be able to fly and travel, all around the world, and meet new people and eat delicious food, and see the world through my artwork. I guess that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, actually, I would say we all have a very similar thing, just to have your art to be the thing that frees you and to go out and go wherever you need to go. And it's the best feeling to create something out of completely nothing, and that is one of the only things that only you can kind of blame yourself for, because like whatever you do is completely what you made. So you can, if anything goes right, it's all because of you. If anything goes bad, it's all because of you. And then you actually brought a point about with doing digital compared to like traditional. Like I had the same issue too sometimes, because I do some exhibitions once in a while, and I do some digital work, but I try to do a lot of traditional. And of course it's time, and even it's kind of like, for example, you know how to do music, right? But if you play the guitar or you play the piano, how the type of song that that comes out of it, it's gonna be a little bit different. Same thing with like digital and like traditional. And my only kind of like concern with digital that I realize, it's like you never really have like an original copy, right? You can make copies of copies, but to have that first one, unless you like drew like a sketch in and then you scanned it and then you did a digital, then at least you have like a sketch. But in terms of just having that digital one, it's a little bit different from traditional, which is kind of why people prefer to have this, it's an original piece, man, no one else is gonna get it and stuff. So that's kind of my issue. Actually, we're gonna take a question over here, a question by Eugene. He actually asked it a while ago. He said, is there any specific nationality that is hard to please in terms of doing a caricature of them? What?
Could you translate in Korean or in English again?
Okay, when you're drawing a caricature, you meet like a lot of different types of people, right? Do you find that some groups of people are harder to accept the caricature? Do you find them harder to accept it than others? We're not pointing any fingers, right? I'm just saying we're just trying to keep it like this, logo, okay? But who do you find is the most difficult to please as a customer, based on nationality?
Based on nationality, I don't think it's based on nationality. It's based on pretty or not, or all the pretty one is kind of hard.
Being pretty is a nationality.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so Korean is hard. Yeah, okay. It's someone who has a right, proportion for face is really hard. But someone who has a like a real is a handsome guy. He's such a handsome guy, but he has a big eyebrow, right? And then eyebrows and okay, eyebrows. And so I can catch him, you know, uh, as a caricature artist. I can catch his image. Yeah, but someone who is very pretty like me is so hard to draw. So I'm serious.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, yeah. I know you're serious. Actually, that's actually had one of the problems for me. I mean, not a lot of people do caricatures of me. Maybe because, I mean, you drew me a couple of times, and I drew myself a lot more too. But I remember even when Sean was here. Sean has a really good sense of exaggeration and stuff.
He doesn't draw me either.
Oh, he didn't draw you either? Oh, really? Oh, really? That's right. Yeah. Like I lived with that guy for a while, and then after he never drew me, and I didn't really ask, but I just thought he would. He did actually afterwards, and he kind of looked at me, and then that was the point where he was just like, he actually looked at me for the first time. He's maybe when we were talking before, he was just kind of like looking at my eyebrows or just something else, or just not even paying attention. Maybe I was just talking to myself, and then suddenly he was just like, he kind of looked at me, goes, yeah, and he's drawing it, and he's like describing me, like, yeah, your jowls are a little bit kind of coming out over here, and he's like looking at me the first time, like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? It's like, at least, but he did a sketch, but he forgot to send it to me. You bastard! You gotta give it back to me. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the answer to that is yes. Good looking people are the hardest to draw, and
Yes, someone who is proportion is everything.
perfect proportion.
Perfect proportion.
Yeah.
It's hardest part.
The pronunciation's the hardest part. Yeah. Perfect proportion. Yeah. Perfect proportion. Yeah. So, actually, yeah, I have the. I remember what you said before was like every line that you add in adds 5 more years or something. So it's like that's the problem. So when you draw like a good looking person, you don't have sometimes people who are older they're good looking, but for the most part, you have to be very careful and conscious about every line that you put in, because that's one thing I notice with like people who start just in drawing in general, especially when they're drawing faces and stuff. They do a lot of a lot of not too sure lines, very like chicken scratches, like chick, 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 chick. And then they make so many lines that it gradually becomes one line that they just wanted to do in the first place, and then what happens, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, there's other artists that do that on purpose, and they get like a nice type of atmosphere in their drawing. But some people, it's one of the things I usually say. It's you have to really concentrate on the line that you put in, because we hear like I don't know, like a photo is worth like 1,000 words. So like if that's the message that you're doing, then every line you're doing is a symbol, or it's like you're actually writing something. Like if I write this symbol, this symbol means eye, or this symbol means ear or something. But of course everyone has different ears and eyes, and then like you have to like it's the hard part about like what your brain sees right in front of you, and what you draw with your hand completely is like a completely different thing. So anyways, well, let's check if there's any other questions. Any other questions? Anybody? Guess not. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, yes. Okay, Yanni's gonna talk about retail caricature. Go ahead.
I'm just suggesting somebody who wanna be a caricature artist, and then I've been teaching caricature class for long time, and then they a lot of people out there, and then working as a retail caricature artist and studio caricature artist, and then it's out there. Some people is really good, better than me. Some people is still keep trying. But the best way learning caricature, um, you want to be a caricature artist, I really suggest to the retail caricature at the first time for about 3 years, you know, 2 and 3 years, and more than 3 years, much better. And then you you will get judged every day from the customer, and then because they pay you a little bit, but you still get judged. Party caricature artists never get judged. They always draw something really quick, and then people just happy because they get a free caricature, you know. But retail caricature, somebody actually have to pay, and then they judge it. They judge for my work, and my eyes not that, my nose not that, for the family judge for that, So artist, I want why I cannot, why I want to draw my way. That's my work and then my drawing, and but caricature also have to agree with the society. It's not just to their work, Like if I draw somebody and then no one realizes who is that, so what is the point? If I draw somebody, people realize that, and then that's him. Recognize that. That's the point. And so caricature must be contain the, how can I, society and likeness, and then so also retail caricature artists have to be entertainer, and then they have to sell their something, their work. Even though my work is not good, sometimes my work is good or bad, doesn't matter. I have to sell my work, and then so learn a lot of things for endure, patient. Also marketing myself, and to marketing myself is really important for artists. If someone who cannot, even though really good artist, it cannot find a good marketer, and then she, who's gonna know he's good? So just to try to learn, or find a field as a retail to work as a retail artist for a while. That's the best way to learning caricature, the start part. And then after 3 years, 5 years, you probably wanna learn more, for have a more eager to learn for oil painting or acrylic, or you have your desire for different material, and then learn other things, and also involved to the exhibition, studio exhibition area, and get a customer. A gift caricature is different area, but studio caricature as a fine art artist, that's also totally blue ocean now. No one does the, not too many, like I cannot say no one, but not. I've been to exhibition as a fine artist. Only I'm the only always one for doing caricature. They all does the landscape or still, how can I say, still life. So you can get a lot of attention when you do the fine artist. But if you don't sell your art piece, you don't get any money. So for until you improve your thing, your art, you can sell your stuff, and just to do the meet a lot of our customer, and then you can market yourself, learn how can market yourself, or marketing yourself, or how can control the situations, and so you learn a lot of things in retail booths. That's why I got a lot of skills from also teaching part. if I don't have a retail experience, I probably really hard to, you know, stand, teaching in front of everybody. Sometimes over 400 people, sometimes 500 people. I was young and then I don't know what to do, but I always talking in front of people when I in the retail booth. So I'm practicing a lot, and so sometimes my drawing is really bad. I have to marketing myself really good. Oh, this drawing is really good, I have to, it's not lie, I did, or I do my best, and then, and then, but it turns out really bad. But I'm just trying to marketing, try to sell my stuff. They appreciate it actually. So my effort, and so that's my suggestion for this.
Yeah, I can definitely see how what you mean by that, and I also see the part where when you are an artist and you want to learn, you've seen it before too, I'm sure, where there's many caricature artists, they do drawings maybe for a few years, but their work starts to get better and better, but it kind of stops, right? And then they'll keep working for like a year. They'll meet a lot of people, but like a customer's criticism is very different from another artist's criticism. Like when a customer gives you a criticism, it's very selfish in a way. They're like saying, my nose, don't draw his nose too big, or you made his ears too small, or something like that. But then usually when you're with another artist, they'll say that too, like that nose is too small. But after they'll tell you like you got to do like this, they explain about the line and the quality and stuff. But with the marketing, when you talk to customers, then that's the most important thing. I think that's a problem where many artists are lacking at, because when you it's so weird, because when you draw, you don't talk, right? Like some people do, like maybe yeah. I don't know who, but yeah, but yeah, you're right. Like some people, when they draw, they can talk and stuff, but you're kind of like almost separating your concentration. Like you're putting all this focus in here to work on the line or to work on the idea, but then after a while, you're doing this, because sometimes you can be like, oh yeah, so where are you from? And then like 5 second answer, and you're like focusing, oh okay, and then you're like, oh, so what you come here today? And then, oh, we're here with my kids, and you're like, oh yeah, and you're just like doing it. But it does get kind of hard to balance, customer relationship, improving your style, not like, like that's one of the big debates I think with many artists, is how to improve your style, how to improve your personal work, but make it sellable. There's so many artists that are just like, oh, I can't push my work, right?
That is the point, though. If your work, it's not sellable. Okay, let's say you like Sebastian Kruger. He does the gift caricature for a while, for about over 10 years, he said, and then he does the gift caricature, but if the artist work is not sellable, sellable is the very main part. It doesn't mean it's a crappy art. It sellable can be really good art. Also, when you have a lot of retail experience, you some point you don't not really get judged from the people. You can do whatever you want. Some like unexperienced artist really focus on the judge. People, oh, customer, oh, make our children pretty, or like that. They can really focus on that. It gets stressful, but some point doesn't really bother me, because I'm gonna draw, and get the likeness and then entertain them.
You
Yeah.
know your own level now to do what
Yeah.
needs to be done.
It took me a lot of even though my drawing is still gonna be improved, like a lot of space to improve. I don't think retail caricature, studio caricature party caricature doesn't have a limit. I can still improve through the sky. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I can keep improving until I die, but you can still entertain them. That is a really important part. If my drawing is not sellable, I'm not gonna be famous. I'm not gonna get money. So the retail caricature uh, make me learn how can make the money, make money by my drawing. So instantly I can judge the people, or instantly I can, you know, I will just know that, if I see the person, what kind he make, maybe I can exaggeration more, or maybe I have the more conservative way, you know, just to
You know the person before you draw them in a way, like how to draw.
yeah, by their acting or by their saying, so maybe it's a lot it's really helping, it's really helping. So I wish I can, now I'm teaching, so I really don't have a time for go back to retail booth, but I really miss that, and I wish I can improve myself more in the retail booth. Some point my company is stable. I really want to draw back there and then doing retail for a while, and because uh, it's a different feeling. Retail and studio work is very different. Retail is more like a communication with people. And I can get energy, a lot of energy too. And some people think it's like retail is kind of like a long time and wasting. I never think that way, because when I working at the outside, no customer there, but still I learned how can I control myself, even no customers there. That's pretty much life. One day is pretty much like a one whole my life, like a short, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it's, I mean, isn't it's not really about trying not to offend anybody, right? That's not your goal as an artist. I mean, you'll see some artists like, whoa, that looks totally offensive. Like, wow, like how can he draw someone like that? But the thing is, it's like I just see it as maybe an artist who draws very exaggerated and looks kind of mean. Is they're just trying to be brutally honest. Like you're trying to be as honest as you can be with your skill and with what you see in front of you as the person. And I think that's one of the hardest things to balance. Just a question for you, Marcus. One thing that I like about your work is your sense of color, right? So I'm just kind of wondering, what's your take on color, and you know, how how has that changed or improved the way how you draw, or how does it translate into like other mediums besides digital and stuff?
Well, color. Well, let's just start off and say that I only drew black and white for a good, I don't know, year and a half. Like only black and white. I was terrified of drawing in color. So I was just focusing on values, and that was the most important thing to me. And only drawing in black and white for a year or a year and a half, I got pretty damn good at drawing values. And then I learned some technique by watching like some demo painting video of like some trick in Photoshop where you make a new layer and you set it to like multiply or color some settings, and then you do like a full value painting black and white, and then you just add color on top, and it translates pretty well. And I did that for a few months, just doing that, because I was still uncomfortable with just starting with color. I didn't want to just do a quick sketch and then throw color on there. And I took Jason Seiler's caricature painting class, which is more of kind of like just a painting class, a digital painting class. And I learned some techniques in painting in color. I didn't really jump into it straight away. I was still more comfortable doing the black and white painting and then throwing color in. But I'm always thinking about trying to get better and ways to improve and evolving my style. And one time I just said, I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it's gonna work very well. And the first time I tried it, it ended up being a huge success. It was my Michelle Obama painting, where I just jumped straight into color, and it's one of my favorites today. And I thought the color was very rich and saturated, and there's all sorts of different colors in there, and it looked so much better than my black and white with the color layers. And so there's maybe some people might think that I color pick from a photo, which I definitely do not do, because I did that before when I was first starting out digital painting, 5 years ago. I was color picking from photos because I didn't know how to find the colors that I was seeing from the photo. So I would use the eyedropper tool, find that color, and then I would open up the color palette and see where it is. And a lot of newer artists will be like, oh, well, I'm seeing that this guy's wearing a red sweater, but he's actually standing under, he's standing in a shadow, so that red sweater is actually kind of more violet, and it's much more desaturated. And an unexperienced digital painter or just artist in general will be like, oh, I'm going to pick red, bright saturated red. But it took a really long time of actually color picking and opening up that window and seeing where it was to be able to find it on my own without color picking. And now I never choose the color picker, because when you are doing that, a JPEG, the photo reference that you're working from, it's just a JPEG. It's just pixels, one pixel next to another, and there's optical mixing going on there. And sometimes it's really inaccurate to pick that one pixel and use it for a whole area. Yeah. So it's better just to observe, squint your eyes and I think I see green, even though he's, it's his face, and faces are normally peach colored or whatever. I see green here, and so I take green and I just lightly put it in that area, and I mix it in with everything that's on there, and there's some blending and optical mixing going on. And I don't know, it's taken me a long time to get where I am with painting in color, and it's just been
But the most important thing is like what you said, you work with value first,
Mhm.
understand your values,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, never picking from the color picker, just looking at that color you see, and
Mhm.
deciding for yourself what is that you actually see,
Yeah.
and then put it in there.
Yeah, I mean, even when you're painting in color, you gotta put value first. Make sure you have those darks, and make sure you have those lights, and there's contrast, and so you have three-dimensional form. I mean, it depends on what you're going for, but if you're going for realistic rendering, which is what I try to do a lot in my paintings, it's all about values. Color comes second to value always. I could be painting a face that's like green and red and brown, and not normal colors, but as long as the values are strong, it's going to look accurate.
Yeah, actually, that actually reminded me. There's actually a really good book if anyone's interested. It's called Color and Light by James Gurney. Do you know Gurney? You have that book, maybe? I have it here. Maybe I can show it to you after. But it's a really really good book, and I talked about some of the things you said. There was one problem that we have is our the paradigms that we have, or the biases we have on color. For example, one example is local color, something that you were talking about. If you see a red fire truck, even if it's at night, you still see it as a red fire truck, but it's not, because it's dark. It's probably purple or violet, and it's completely different. And I had a huge problem too with color, and then there was one point where I was really getting into it, and then I was obsessed with grays, because when we think of gray, we think of only one gray, but then, there's so many different types of gray. There's like orange gray, green gray, yellow gray, all this gray. So I go out and I walk with my girlfriend and we see these shadows. Like, what color is this? She's like, it's black. I'm like, what color black? Red, black, good. And then we're just like walking, just like, what color is this? What color is this? And, it's pretty cool in Korea because, the street lights is kind of like orange. And then you get these oranges and you get these purples. And then you try to paint those, speed paint it in your head, like, how would I do it? And then you open up Photoshop in your head. You're like, how would I do this? And you put like a layer there. You really actually break it down, right? Because you're actually practicing. Because if you could actually bring it with you, you would do it, right? You'd be like, oh shit, I can do this right now. And yeah, draw it up, bitch. And then you just draw it in. But yeah, but after that, it's just like, oh man, like how do I really see those colors? What was I remember when I was learning about I never learned color in school. No one ever taught it. So we learned like tonal value and like just line, because in animation it's always about the power of the line, right? But we never really learned like the how color can enhance stuff. That's not what we were raised into doing. So then, like even with many artists, it's just like, oh man, color is like this thing that's a completely different machine, a completely different animal. Like, oh, I can draw your face off, but then so it's like, yeah, can you color it? And you're just like, oh shit, I can't do that, And then after that, I used to like read all these books on color and stuff. Even tried to like figure out the scientific part of it, which is like you really try to do that, but it doesn't really help. I don't think, because like Newton's like, oh yeah, like this guy knew everything about colors, and you're like, yeah, man, prisms, like light goes into prisms and makes rainbows, and you look at like a Pink Floyd album and you're like, yeah, I know what he's talking about and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we've been talking for like an hour and 10 minutes. So I think we can just kind of finish it there. Yeah. It went pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you guys coming here. I hope we can do this again, when you guys have time. And if you want to let anyone know about, your sites or, your classes or anything, just let them know.
My class, just to get in touch with Facebook. There's I'm not really a Facebook person, but, I can check once a week. Oh yeah, I have a Cyword. There's a Cyword. Funart.cyword.com. Funart.cyword.com. That's my CYWORLD.com. Sorry. But it's all Korean, so it's hard to, if you English speaker, it's hard to read. So just to have a question. My new class is November start, but I had only once a week, like a Saturday class, and I'm not really teaching now. Just I have a once a week class, and I have a vacation now, so but it's gonna be start again. But I'm gonna open my new caricature cafe in Hongik University area. Yay! I just had a contract, and so it's kind of a caricature gallery cafe. So I will guys let you know in my Facebook or Twitter. And so you guys come anytime and then drawing caricature, and then that's welcome. I'm probably gonna do my caricature class in that cafe. Yeah, let's meet someday. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, we have to do a big opening for that. When you have that open, we have to have like a big exhibition. We gotta get a lot of people there. Okay, and Marcus, how about you?
All right. Yeah, so if you don't already know who I am, Marcus Sakoda, you can go to my website, marcussakoda.com, MarcusSakoda. .com, and you can pretty much get to everything from there. You can go to my blog, which is msakoda.blogspot.com, and there's a link to my blog on my website. And then I also have a Facebook page. You can just type in Marcus Sakoda or Marcus Sakoda caricatures and go to my page, like my page. I also have a YouTube page. It's not Marcus Sakoda at YouTube or whatever. It's kind of confusing. It's youtube.com/jubhubmubfub. That's JUBHUBMUBFUB. And there's a link on my Facebook page. The story behind Jubhubmubfub. Well, long time ago, I was playing StarCraft in middle school, and you can like recreate usernames like every night if you want to. A couple times a night. It doesn't matter. Like you can make as many usernames as you want, and me and my friend, we'd always play StarCraft, and we would change our names like every game. We'd make a new username, and we'd have similar sounding names, and we'd beat people, as a team. And one time he signed up as HubJubMubFub, and I signed up as JubHubMubFub, and I just thought it was a hilarious name, and I've kept with it for I don't know, probably 10 years now. I use it for a lot of video game stuff, but it's my YouTube account name. So, but just go to my Facebook page and you'll find a link to my YouTube, or just go on YouTube and type in Marcus Sakoda. You'll find my page, and I got speed paintings, where I do my digital caricatures in under like an hour or two, and then I squeeze it together up to like 5 or 7 minutes, and I do like a little short kind of like podcast type thing, or just talking about what's going on or some kind of topic. And you should really check out my YouTube videos, subscribe to my channel, leave me comments, suggestions. I'm really excited about my YouTube channel, and that's where all my focus is kind of right now. So go to YouTube and type in my name.
Do you know my name actually?
Yeah, everyone knows your name. You're
My spelling? Do you know?
Yonie Wu.
What is the spelling?
Yonie. Yonie. Okay. Well, it's YONNIE
No.
QUA. YONIE.
Yeah.
Yonie, and Woo, WOO. You can find her on Facebook. It's pretty easy. Yeah. So if you guys have any problems with her website, just feel free to message her on Facebook. I'm pretty sure there's only one Yanni Wu in the whole. There's two.
Yeah, but both is my page.
Oh, both of them is hers. So you can just message her through there, and again, check out Marcus's work. Marcus, you got some awesome stuff. I love what you do and stuff. Very, very cool. He's really got some awesome speed painting tutorials over there. And for myself, always remember, every Saturday from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we have caricature classes at Myeongdong Gallery. You can join our Facebook page, Learn Caricature, and, subscribe to our artist journey, artist with a comma, apostrophe S in journey. And also, we're starting a new life drawing workshop in Myeongdong for 1 month. It's going to start from 1 to 3. So anyone who's interested, just give me a shout, and then we can draw together. Yay! Woo! So we're done for today, and we're just going to relax. But thanks for everyone who's been listening so far. And yeah, we're gonna record. It's been recording, so we're gonna put this on YouTube. So we can feel free to share this with other people and stuff. Cool. All right. Okay. Well, I'll edit it first. Okay. So see you guys later. Have a good time. Bye bye.